Hi, today we're going to take a look at special trig limits. One of them that we're going to discuss is limit of sine x over x as x approaches 0. If you use direct substitution, this is 0 divided by 0, so we can't do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at three things. There is a triangle ACB, there's a sector ACB with that arc CB, and there is also another triangle ADB. So for the area of the triangle, the large one, so this here is determined by the tangent of x. So for the triangle here, which is the largest of the three area-wise, is going to be determined, since we're using radians, as tangent of our angle theta divided by 2. Then we have this sector. The area of the sector is going to be determined through radians as theta divided by 2. Again, we refer to that here as theta. We know that the area of this triangle is not going to be less than the area of the sector, so we can connect them with this. And then we finally have this triangle here, whose area is going to be found as sine theta divided by 2. Okay, and that's going to be the smallest of all of them. So what we have here is we have these three areas. The first one is for the triangle ADB, the middle part is for the sector ACB, and the third thing is for the triangle ACB. And this is how it's going to be, because this is the largest of the three, this is the smallest of the three. This one cannot be greater than that, and this one cannot be greater than that. Okay, if I multiply both sides by 2 divided by sine theta, I am going to get, here it's going to leave me with 1 over cosine theta. And since we know that sine theta, at least in quadrant 1, is going to be positive, that means we cannot, it's not going to be negative, so all the signs will stay the same. Over here we're going to get theta divided by sine theta, and here we're going to get 1. If we reciprocate, so when you reciprocate fractions with inequalities, the signs will change. So what's going to happen here, then you're going to get cosine theta is less than or equal to sine theta over theta, which in turn is less than or equal to 1. And this is 1. Cosine theta, when theta equals 0, remember we're dealing with 0, is also 1. So we basically have that 1 is less than or equal to sine theta over theta, which is less than or equal to 1. And there is something called the squeeze theorem. It is also known as the sandwich theorem. It's more of an informal. We can kind of see that this is going to have to equal 1. Okay, so that's one limit that you should memorize because it will help you. So let's see what else we have here. So if you reciprocate that, so instead of sine x over x, it's x over sine x, you can probably see that the limit is still going to be 1. But what do you do when you have problems like this, when it's sine 3x divided by x as x approaches 0? This does not match. This here says 3x, this has just 1x. So the way we normally do it is we multiply the bottom by 3, multiply the top by 3. This here is what we want. We want the same argument. So we want sine 3x divided by 3x. This 3 can be brought outside of the limit since it's a constant. And what we have is 3 times the limit as x approaches 0 of sine 3x over 3x. Now with that being in agreement, that's 1, 3 times 1, and the answer is 3. For example 4, we have sine x over 4x. So again, well, it's a little bit easier. All you need to do here really is take 1/4 out. Oops, I'm sorry, that's the limit. Sine x over x, as x approaches 0, and this whole thing is 1. So we have 1/4 times 1, which is 1/4. And lastly, we have tangent x over x. So this one requires some prep work. And what we're going to do, we're going to remember that tangent is sine over cosine. So first we're going to rewrite that as sine x over x times 1 over cosine x. Right, sine over cosine is tangent, and we still have our x. The reason we do it this way is because now we can consider that as two separate limits. One of the properties of limits allows you to take a product and separate it into product of two limits. And this limit is 1. As x approaches 0, cosine is 1, so 1 over 1 is 1, so 1 times 1, and it is 1. Okay, and that's how it's done. I hope this helps.